NFL Network.
Good morning, football. Nate, Peter, and Kay here, live in New York City. We, of course, are so excited for Thursday Night Football, just hours away. And we'll get you guys all the biggest storylines, who's playing, who's not, before that game tonight. But you guys did such a great job giving me different perspectives on the Martavis Bryant situation that I thought we could maybe keep that going and talk about Cam Newton, who continues to find himself in the headlines. So, you know, we talk about his fashion, right? After the games and post games, and we talk about things that he has to say. But if you look at the numbers, he has 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions over the last 2 games, and he had this to say at a press conference yesterday.
You think you guys have the wherewithal to do that consistently week in and week out?
Next question. Thank you.
Probably good.
Panthers released a statement a short time later to multiple reporters in response to what happened. Cam didn't intend to be discourteous toward any specific media member. In his mind, after answering questions for 9 minutes, he had fulfilled his obligations. All right, so we've got a guy who's been in those rooms asking the questions. Then we have a guy who's been in locker rooms answering those questions. So, Peter, what is the obligation?
Got an obligation, like that press release said. He's got to speak to the media for a certain amount of time. He did that. We did not see the full context leading up to that.
Is it like 8 minutes?
It could be 8 to 10 minutes.
Okay.
It could be 20 minutes, depending on how long the press, you know, the person in the PR department wants it to go on. A lot of times he'll interject and say, okay, one more. We're in there. Now, I didn't see what led up to it, but I know Joseph Person, the reporter, very well, and he's been covering that team for a long time. I haven't spoke to him today, but they have a relationship themselves. I mean, Cam's been the quarterback there since 2011, so they've known each other for years. So whatever that question was, it doesn't necessarily have to do with that question. It might have been something building up to it, whether it be a national media narrative or a local media narrative. Cam certainly hit a boiling point with whatever was asked, and it was about chunk plays, which is the most innocuous thing you could possibly ask. It's about long-distance plays. It wasn't a question about Cam off the field. It wasn't a question about Cam's behavior with the comments towards the female reporter earlier this year. It was a football question.
He was frustrated. Is he not allowed to be frustrated, Peter?
He's allowed to be frustrated. It's a tough spot for the media, because what now? Okay, he walks away, and then now do we have to come act like that didn't happen the next day? Or does he apologize? No, that was a press release from the team. You'd never want a contentious situation with player and press.
Especially star player.
Star player and press, because A, the press relies on the star player for a lot of content. And B, the star player at some point is going to rely on the press to get his back and say, hey, here's what I'm doing off the field. Here's what I'm trying to do. Here's my case. That was an uncomfortable situation to watch. And Nate, I ask you as a player, if you're Cam Newton and the guys are asking you questions, you know, how would you have handled that?
Yeah, so we don't know what led up to that point. So we don't know if there was a similar question before and he's saying, listen, I already answered that. But I'm not going to defend Cam because I don't know the situation. I will say this. It's not the way you would want your quarterback to end a presser. But here's the thing. It's not easy to go up there when you're dealing with so many things on and off the field, and you got questions that you can't answer yourself. If you ask the quarterback, why don't we have any chunk plays? The real answer, the football answer, is talk to the coordinator. But if Cam says that, then, it's Cam throwing his coordinator under the bus. If he goes into detail about specific plays that haven't worked, it's Cam throwing his coordinator under the bus. Or if he says, you know what, here's the plays that we tried that didn't work, then he's throwing his players under the bus. So I'm pretty sure in Cam's head he was thinking, okay, there's 1,000 ways I can answer this. The one X's and O's way that you would need an answer for is talk to my OC, which he didn't want to do. But even with all that said, there's a way of walking away and ending the situation. I feel like there's all these relationships that we deal with as players, and they all have to do with my love for the game. And I always say that she was a beautiful woman I fell in love with. Even when you're talking to the media, there's a way to walk away from an argument or a conversation that isn't going the right way. If I'm talking to my wife...
How many quarterbacks there are in the history that, or how many, even if there was beef with any reporter, that they all stand at the podium and answer their questions or deal with them or grit through it, or how much like drama we don't know about that goes on, and how much contention there is between the press and players coming off a bad loss. I know he's probably not feeling great after Chicago gave him the business. Like, I don't know, I don't really care what the question was.
But Kate,
really
you said there, how many quarterbacks that have handled the right way? You know how many quarterbacks have handled the wrong way?
Yeah.
There's been just as many. But it's Cam. And because it's Cam, they say, oh, let's show Cam. I've been on teams where the quarterback will get up and say, I'm done, walk away, push the camera out of the way. But if the quarterback's not a superstar, then they're not going to put him out there every single week and say, oh, he handled it wrong again. This happens all the time, more times than not.
We're making too big of a deal of it.
No, but Cam has put a target on his back because he's handled this wrong.
It seems
and
like
he's
a pattern,
superstar.
right? It seems like a pattern. After
he's a superstar.
After the Super Bowl, he was sitting there in the bowels of Levi Stadium and had a bad press conference. He had the thing earlier this year. And I kind of am with Kay on this. Like, perception is reality. Whether Cam was upset with the situation there or it's a bigger picture, it's just another thing. To me, he should know. Right?
This happens more time than you guys realize.
I don't want that to happen to Cam at the podium. Like, perception's reality. When we're on the back pages and we were here in New York and Odell's on a yacht, sorry to bring that up just as an example, like, you know what you're going to get when you do that and you take pictures. Like, you have to have the foresight to do that, and then he can't just grit through it and be like, as frustrated as he might be, and leave this, answer the question by not answering the question, which most quarterbacks do. Right. So just trying to get better every day. Say that. Just say that you're trying to get better every day.
Yeah, but then when he says that, it's he's saying cliche. Like, either way, he can't win. But I'm not sticking up for him. I would love Cam to say, you know what, I can't answer that question without throwing anybody under the bus, and that's not my thing. I'm done. And then walk away. That's a great way to handle it.
Personality. So I don't know what side I'm on, because if that's just his personality, then maybe we should just accept it and know that's what we're going to get.
Prime example, a guy that just got hurt, Jay Cutler. You know how many times he sat up there and he's walked away, had the funny face. Cam
and he gets dragged for it all the time, Jay does.
But I get it. He gets dragged, but not as much as Cam. I'm saying Cam will get up there and walk away, and they'll say, oh, here's Cam again, being Cam again. Jay Cutler, it's like, oh, it's just Jay Cutler. That's just his personality. So this happens more times than not. It's not just quarterbacks. It's not a black or white thing. It's a player thing. Football players get in their feelings quite often because you have people asking them questions, and you have only so many answers. It tells not to say cliches. It tells not to throw anybody under the bus. And tell us not to sit there and take all the praise, because if they do, you're going to end up like RG3, and they say, oh, he handles it the wrong way. So all I'm saying is Cam can handle it better, for sure, 100%. But let's not act like Cam is the only one handling the media this way.
Well said. Good conversation. Back-to-back segments. Woo! Hashtag GMFB. Guys, let us know how you feel as we welcome in Will Selva for the first time on this Thursday morning. He's out in the NFL newsroom in LA with all the latest right before Thursday Night Football.
Absolutely. Lots to get to, Kay. And when there's a quarterback change of any kind, the needle on the wow meter is usually in red territory. When a quarterback change happens in Cleveland, the needle barely budges. Meet the new QB, same as the old QB. Rookie Deshaun Kaiser will start again. They'll be facing the Vikings Sunday in London. Head coach Hugh Jackson says he knows everybody's concerned about his quick hook, and that there are some things in the quarterback position that are non-negotiable for him, that being turnovers. Kaiser is just looking forward to the opportunity to actually finish a game.
I feel like I'm
make the trip to London, but his status for the game at this point is still unknown. And Dolphins quarterback Matt Moore, he has some fans in that Miami locker room. Count offensive coordinator Clyde Christensen is one of them, calling Moore, quote, electric, even so far as calling him the Pied Piper. Christensen says Moore is a popular guy and his energy is contagious. And Kay, consider this. Since 2011, the Dolphins have scored the most points with Matt Moore as the quarterback. He's had 15 career starts.
QB controversy in South Beach. Look at you.
I'm just saying, 15 career starts, 22.8 points per game. Tannehill has had considerably more, 77, but his points per game average has been less, and that is definitely more than Chad Henne and also more than Jay Cutler.
Hand the
so
ball
I'm just
to
saying,
Jay
Matt Moore.
Hand the ball to Jay tonight. All right, great stuff. With our friend Will Selva out in the NFL newsroom. Omar Ruiz is live in Baltimore getting set for tonight's game between the Dolphins and the Ravens, and you can see that just hours from now, baby, right here on NFL Network. Good morning football to you, Omar. The Dolphins, they've been through a lot already this season. So they lost Ryan Tannehill, of course, and then they had their schedule, the hurricane situation, them going back and forth from London, them not having a bye. This team has really battled through a lot of adversity. They have some resilience. And how's that working out for them?
Good morning, Kay. Well, it's starting to sprinkle a little bit here in Baltimore. It's a little chilly. Should be clear by the time kickoff rolls around. But if there was inclement weather for this game tonight, the Miami Dolphins have been through much worse. You mentioned the displacement from the hurricane out in California to start this season, having their week one, their bye eventually taken away, going back and forth to London. Adam Gase saying that no matter what situation they're in, whether it's adversity off the field, whether they're down late in the game, their team, by their leadership, by the players that they've drafted the last couple of years, they're full. Their roster is full of players who embrace being in those moments, who embrace the adversity. They're only focused on winning the game. So tonight against the Ravens, Clyde Christensen, offensive coordinator, saying this will be their biggest challenge yet, coming off the short week. He said that game against the Jets was a 3-hour brawl, and they expect another physical defense tonight with these Ravens going on the road in the short week. But if they can survive and win this game, they'll be tied with the Patriots for first in the AFC East. They'll be winners of 4 in a row, and they'll be having their essentially lone bye of the season, that mini bye, coming off the break of Thursday Night Football, looking ahead to next week as we get ready for Week 9.
And speaking of Miami's resiliency, they're starting Matt Moore in place of Jay Cutler. How are the Ravens preparing to defend a quarterback that they weren't preparing for maybe a week ago?
Yeah, well, defensive coordinator Dean Pease says Matt Moore is a veteran. He's savvy. He has poise. We saw what a spark he provided in leading that comeback last week. But safety Eric Weddle telling me they don't have much tape really to study his quarterback tendencies individually this year. So they're focusing on that scheme from Adam Gase. And we talked about how Eric Weddle is as familiar as anyone with Gase's scheme. Weddle saying that they know Gase is going to attack. He's unafraid to even go after the things that the Ravens defense does well. He said he's one of the best play callers in the business, can adjust on the fly. We've seen that with their comebacks in these second halves. They know it'll be a fourth quarter effort for the Ravens if they're going to beat these Miami Dolphins tonight.
Thanks, Omar. We appreciate it, man. You're always the first one on the ground, the first one with the news. We'll check back in with you throughout the show.
Peter, you were there on the sidelines. Were you surprised by the energy? We all saw the post game with Jarvis Landry all up in your face. Were you surprised? Because they've dealt with a lot.
Yeah, Jarvis was making sure to tell us, don't doubt us. And if you really want to quickly look at that Dolphins roster, it's guys who have been discarded or were passed over. I mean, Jarvis Landry fell to the second round, right? Matt Moore has always been the backup quarterback. You go on that defensive side of the ball, it's a lot of guys who were late round draft picks or discarded by other teams. Adam Gase has a whole philosophy down there. It's